Senior diplomat Frank Carter stared out the viewport of the shuttle as it approached the massive space station that housed the Galactic Council. After decades of SETI programs and searching the stars, humanity had finally made contact with alien civilization. Or rather, they had made contact with us. Remember, Frank, this isn't just about Earth. You're representing all of humanity now, said his assistant, Lisa Powell, checking her tablet one last time. Frank nodded, his gray eyes focused on the glittering structure ahead. 12 species, all more advanced than us. And they expect me to just walk in there and act like this is normal. The shuttle docked with a gentle thud. Frank straightened his navy blue suit and took a deep breath. Humanity's first official meeting with the Galactic Council was about to begin. The council chamber was a massive circular room with 12 distinct sections, each designed to accommodate the physical needs of the different species. Frank was led to a 13th section, hastily added for the human delegation. "Welcome, representative of Earth," said the Morvian delegate, a tall being with iridescent skin who served as the current council leader. "We are pleased to formally welcome humans to the galactic community." As introductions proceeded around the chamber, Frank carefully observed each species. Most seemed genuinely curious or diplomatically neutral toward humanity. But when the Voxeri representative spoke, a reptilian being with metallic scales and piercing yellow eyes, Frank felt a chill run down his spine. "We look forward to learning more about your species," the Voxeri delegate said, mandibles clicking slightly as he spoke. 3 days into the diplomatic mission, Frank received an urgent message from Earth. Dr. Olivia Wright, head of Earth's Astronomical Defense Network, had detected unusual energy patterns near the edge of the solar system. "We're picking up readings consistent with artificial propulsion systems," Dr. Wright explained during their secure video call. Her face looked tired, brown hair hastily pulled back. "They don't match any of the signatures the Council provided in their technology exchange package." Frank frowned. "Any idea who they belong to?" "Based on the limited database we have, the energy patterns most closely resemble Voxeri technology." The next day, Frank requested a private audience with the Council. He presented Dr. Wright's findings, including visual confirmation of what appeared to be Voxeri scout ships. "These vessels entered our system without notification," Frank said. "According to Council protocols that were just shared with us, all ships must register before entering another species' territory." The Morvian leader blinked slowly. "Are you certain these readings are accurate? Human technology is quite primitive by our standards." The Voxeri delegate made a sound that resembled laughter. "Many natural phenomena could be misinterpreted by your sensors. Cosmic radiation, asteroid reflections, or simply equipment malfunction." One by one, the council members dismissed Frank's concerns. Only the Nilarian representative, an ancient species resembling luminous jellyfish, seemed troubled. As Frank left the chamber, the evidence tucked away in his warning ignored, he couldn't shake the feeling that humanity had just been tested. And the stakes were far higher than simple diplomatic relations. Back on Earth, Dr. Wright expanded the detection grid and began cataloging every anomalous reading. Admiral Martinez quietly ordered increased readiness for Earth's meager space defense forces. "They didn't believe you?" Dr. Wright asked during their next call. Frank shook his head. "Worse. I think some of them knew exactly what I was talking about. We're on our own for now, Olivia." "Then we better start preparing," she replied, her expression grim. "Because whatever the Voxeri are planning, I don't think they're here for friendly diplomatic relations." Frank looked out his station quarters at the distant stars. Somewhere out there, he was certain, the Voxeri were moving pieces into position, and the Council had just made it clear Earth would have to defend itself. 6 months had passed since Frank Carter's warning was dismissed by the Galactic Council. During that time, Earth had been busy. Dr. Olivia Wright hadn't slept properly in weeks, her eyes red-rimmed as she reviewed the latest data from the expanded sensor network. "We've confirmed at least 8 unidentified vessels moving through the Kuiper Belt in the past month," she told the emergency committee. The room was tense, filled with military officers and government officials. Their energy signatures match Voxery technology with 98% certainty. Admiral Peter Garcia, a stocky man with a perpetually serious expression, pointed to the holographic display. They're establishing a perimeter, classic encirclement tactics. Why hasn't the Council responded to our messages? Asked Defense Secretary Helen Ward. Frank sighed. They're still treating us like children who don't understand what we're seeing. The official response suggests we're detecting normal trade routes that have existed for centuries. Trade routes that conveniently weren't on any maps they shared with us. Dr. Wright muttered. The following week, Frank returned to the Council station with a comprehensive data package. This time, he wasn't just showing energy readings. Earth's deep space telescopes had captured actual images, enhanced to show the distinctive angular shape of Voxery vessels. The Council chamber felt colder than before. Frank noticed several species shifting uncomfortably as he presented his evidence. These vessels have established positions throughout our outer solar system, Frank explained, pointing to the mapped locations. Their movement patterns suggest military positioning, not scientific exploration or trade. The Voxery delegate's scales rippled with what Frank had learned was amusement. Perhaps humans simply don't understand how spacefaring species navigate. These are standard positions for monitoring cosmic radiation and gravitational anomalies. Then why weren't we informed? Frank countered. The Morvian leader waved a luminescent hand dismissively. The Council has many protocols that would be overwhelming for newly contacted species. We introduced them gradually. As arguments erupted around the chamber, Frank noticed the ancient Nilarian representative motioning subtly toward the exit. After the session adjourned, Frank found the jellyfish-like being waiting in a quiet corridor. Human Carter, the Nilarian's translator device, spoke softly. Your concerns are not unfounded. Frank felt a surge of validation. Then why won't the Council listen? The Voxery hold significant influence. Several Council members have beneficial trade agreements they fear losing. The Nilarian's translucent body pulsed with soft blue light. We have observed similar patterns before, but without definitive proof, the Council will not act. And you won't publicly support Earth. We cannot. Not yet. The Nilarians seem to shrink slightly, but I suggest your people prepare. The Voxery rarely show interest in systems without purpose. Back on Earth, Frank's report sparked immediate action. Admiral Garcia received approval for his defense initiative. Construction began on orbital defense platforms disguised as research stations. Earth's military forces started training for space combat scenarios, despite their technological disadvantage. Dr. Wright's team worked around the clock to reverse engineer what little alien technology they had access to. In her lab, surrounded by equations and prototype designs, she made a breakthrough. The Voxery ships emit a specific radiation pattern when their cloaking systems engage, she explained excitedly to Frank. We can detect them even when they think they're invisible. Frank watched as the detection system lit up with new contacts. Not 8 Voxery ships in the outer system. Dozens. We need to warn the Council again, Frank said, though his voice lacked conviction. Dr. Wright shook her head. They had their chance to listen. Now we prepare to defend ourselves. As Earth mobilized in secret, the Voxery ships continued their silent approach, unaware that humans had found a way to track their every move. The clock was ticking toward confrontation, and humanity refused to be caught unprepared. Frank Carter stood before the Galactic Council for the third time, his patience worn thin. The evidence he carried wasn't just compelling, it was irrefutable. Earth's intelligence agencies had intercepted and decoded Voxery communications, revealing plans that chilled him to the core. Honored Council members, Frank began, his voice steady despite his exhaustion. I come before you today with evidence that cannot be dismissed as human misunderstanding or technological error. The chamber fell silent as he activated the holographic display. It showed detailed Voxery battle plans and resource surveys of Earth. These documents clearly outline a Voxeri operation to extract Earth's oceans and biological resources, Frank continued. Their communications specifically mention our planet's water and biomass as harvestable assets and refer to humans as an expendable indigenous population. The Morgan leader's skin dimmed slightly, the equivalent of a frown. These could be forgeries or misinterpretations. Humans have no experience with interspecies diplomatic nuance. The Voxeri delegate rose, mandibles clicking rapidly. This is outrageous. Humans have clearly manufactured these documents to gain Council's sympathy and technology. Their paranoia is a sign of their primitive development stage. Frank had expected denial, but the mockery that followed stunned him. Several Council species openly laughed at the human imagination. One delegate suggested that Earth was simply experiencing first contact anxiety. Our planet is facing an existential threat, Frank said, struggling to keep his voice even. We have tracked over 50 Voxeri vessels in our system. Their weapons systems have been activated. These are not scientific missions. The Council voted almost immediately. 11 votes dismissed the human concerns as unfounded. Only the insectoid Zicteri abstained, their compound eyes fixed on Frank with what he interpreted as sympathy. As the chamber emptied, the Zicteri representative approached. Unlike the graceful Malarians or imposing Voxeri, the Zicteri were small, with chitinous exoskeletons and delicate wings that vibrated when they spoke. Human Carter, the Zicteri's translator, buzzed. My species remembers. We were once like you. What do you mean? Frank asked. The Voxeri came to our home system centuries ago. We warned the Council then. They did not listen until 3 of our colony worlds were harvested. The Zicteri's antennae twitched. We cannot openly oppose them without evidence the Council accepts, but we will not endorse their lies. Frank returned to Earth with grim news. In the war room beneath Geneva, military and scientific leaders received his report in tense silence. So we're on our own, Admiral Garcia concluded. Not completely, Frank replied. The Zicteri may provide covert assistance, but officially, yes, Earth stands alone. Dr. Wright's team had made remarkable progress. By studying the limited alien technology available to them, they had developed prototype weapon systems that might stand a chance against Voxeri shields. Their energy weapons operate on principles similar to our plasma research, she explained, displaying schematics of a new defense system. We've managed to create shields that could withstand at least a few direct hits. Secretary Ward nodded grimly. How soon can we deploy? 2 weeks for the orbital platforms. The lunar base defenses are already operational. Outside the meeting, Frank found Dr. Wright staring at satellite images of Earth's oceans. They want our water, she said quietly, of all the things in the universe to fight over. Frank nodded. The Voxeri evolved on a desert planet. To them, Earth is a treasure trove. Do they realize we'll fight back? She asked. I don't think they care. They've done this before, to worlds less prepared than ours. As they spoke, Dr. Wright's tablet chimed with an alert. New data from the outer system showed dozens of Voxeri ships decloaking, forming attack formations. They're coming, she whispered. Frank's expression hardened. Then let's show them why they should have taken our warning seriously. Earth's defenses moved to high alert as humanity prepared for its first interstellar war, a war the Galactic Council had chosen to ignore until it was too late. Dawn broke over the Pacific as Dr. Olivia Wright received the alert. Voxeri ships had accelerated toward Earth's orbital stations. She immediately contacted the Emergency Command Center. They're moving faster than we predicted, she reported, watching the tracking screen as red dots swarmed toward the blue planet. ETA to weapons range, 17 minutes. Admiral Garcia issued rapid orders as military personnel rushed to battle stations. Across the globe, civilians remained unaware of the approaching threat. The world governments had agreed to prevent panic until absolutely necessary. Activate Defense Grid Alpha, Garcia commanded. All orbital platforms switched to combat mode. Lunar Base, prepare long-range countermeasures. The first attack came swiftly. Voxeri energy weapons blazed across the darkness of space, targeting Earth's communications satellites and research stations. The orbital defense platforms, disguised as weather and research satellites, suddenly transformed, revealing weapon systems that had been hidden from both Earth's population and alien surveillance. Frank Carter watched from the emergency bunker as humanity's first space battle unfolded on massive screens. "Are we broadcasting to the Council?" he asked urgently. "Trying," answered Communications Officer Ryan King. "But all official channels are being blocked. We can't reach them." On screen, the initial Voxeri barrage destroyed 3 defense platforms, but the aliens seemed surprised when Earth's weapons fired back with unexpected effectiveness. Dr. Wright's modified shields held against the alien weaponry better than anyone had dared hope. "They didn't expect us to have this level of technology," Dr. Wright observed, her eyes fixed on the battle data. "They thought this would be easy." In orbit, Admiral Diane Martinez commanded Earth's small but determined space fleet from the bridge of the EDS Defender. Though human ships were outmatched in size and power, they moved with surprising agility. Evasive Pattern Delta, Martinez ordered as a Voxeri cruiser locked weapons on her vessel. "Deploy countermeasures and prepare to fire main batteries." The human vessels scattered like startled fish, making themselves difficult targets as they launched precisely calculated strikes against the larger Voxeri ships. Earth's strategy wasn't to win through power, but through unpredictability and targeted attacks. 3 hours into the battle, a damaged Voxeri vessel drifted into Earth's gravity well, its engines failing after sustaining multiple hits. Admiral Martinez saw an opportunity. "Boarding team prepared," she commanded. "This is our chance to capture their technology and possibly prisoners. We need proof the Council can't ignore." The boarding operation was dangerous but successful. Earth forces secured the crippled alien ship and captured 4 injured Voxeri crew members. More importantly, they recovered the ship's data core intact. Meanwhile, in the Council chamber, the Voxeri delegate addressed the emergency session with calculated outrage. "Humans have launched an unprovoked attack on our scientific vessels," he claimed, mandibles clicking rapidly. "They have revealed hidden military technology and captured Voxeri citizens. This primitive species must be contained before they threaten galactic stability." Most Council members seemed prepared to accept this version of events, until the Zicteri representative interrupted. "We request verification of these claims," the insectoid delegate buzzed. "Our monitoring suggests Voxeri weapons fired first." Before the Council could respond, their communication system unexpectedly activated. Frank Carter's face appeared on the central display, his expression grim but determined. "Honorable Council," he said, his voice steady despite the chaos visible behind him. "Earth is under attack. We have captured a Voxeri vessel with its mission logs intact. They confirm everything we warned you about." The Council erupted in confusion as Frank continued. "We are transmitting the Voxeri battle plans now. See for yourselves what they intended for Earth." As the data streamed to the Council, Frank looked directly at the camera. "We gave you every opportunity to prevent this conflict. You ignored us. Now we will defend ourselves by any means necessary." The transmission cut abruptly as another wave of Voxeri ships entered Earth's orbit, but this time, humanity was ready for them. The captured Voxeri vessel became Dr. Olivia Wright's new laboratory. For 5 straight days, she and her team worked tirelessly, reverse engineering alien technology, while Earth's defenders held the line against the increasing Voxeri assault. "Their shields operate on a frequency modulation we can disrupt," Dr. Wright explained to Admiral Garcia, her eyes bright despite her exhaustion. "And the captured Voxeri confirmed our suspicions. They want our oceans. Water is more valuable to them than gold." In the interrogation room, the senior Voxeri prisoner had finally revealed the truth, believing humans too primitive to use the information effectively. "Your world is perfect for harvesting," the alien had said, yellow eyes narrowed with contempt. 70% covered in water, with minimal defenses. The Council has let us harvest 12 similar worlds before yours. Admiral Martinez stood at the command center, reviewing Dr. Wright's new countermeasures. How soon can we deploy these shield disruptors? The prototypes are ready now. Mass production begins tomorrow. Martinez nodded. Then it's time for Phase 2. Phase 2 was humanity's answer to being outgunned. Guerrilla warfare in space. Earth ships began using the asteroid belt as cover, appearing to launch attacks and then vanishing among the space rocks. Smaller craft deployed from hidden bases on Mars and the Moon, striking Voxeri supply lines before disappearing again. The Voxeri commander, frustrated by human resilience, ordered his fleet to press forward toward Earth itself. He never expected the trap waiting for them. As the alien armada approached Earth's orbit, Dr. Wright activated her masterpiece, a modified gravity drive salvaged from the captured ship. The device created a localized disruption that caused Voxeri shield systems to flicker and fail. All units, target the flagships, Admiral Martinez ordered. Concentrate fire on vessels with failed shields. Human weapons found their marks. 3 Voxeri command ships erupted in spectacular explosions, visible as new stars in Earth's night sky. Meanwhile, Frank Carter worked frantically with his Zictari allies to bypass the Council's communication restrictions. The insectoid species had provided him with access codes to their emergency broadcast system. We need to show the Council what's really happening, Frank told his Zictari contact. The Voxeri are jamming all our transmissions. The Zictari's antennae quivered. We have prepared a data packet with Council access protocols. When your Dr. Wright's new communications array is ready, you can broadcast directly to all species simultaneously. On the front lines, Admiral Martinez's forces had adapted to space combat with remarkable speed. Human pilots used their smaller ships' maneuverability to outflank the larger Voxeri vessels, targeting engine systems and weapons arrays with surgical precision. They expected us to fight like them, Martinez told her bridge crew as they evaded enemy fire. But humans have millennia of asymmetric warfare experience. We don't need to match their firepower to defeat them. The tide began to turn when Dr. Wright unveiled her next innovation, drones equipped with the shield-disrupting technology. Hundreds of these small, unmanned craft swarmed through the Voxeri fleet, creating gaps in their defenses that human weapons could exploit. In her lab, surrounded by alien technology and sleeping scientists, Dr. Wright received an unexpected message from the Nilarians. The ancient species have been analyzing the battle data and made a disturbing discovery. The Voxeri fleet attacking Earth is just their first wave, she read aloud, her voice faltering. Their main harvesting vessels are still assembling beyond Neptune. Admiral Garcia reviewed the Nilarian intelligence grimly. How many ships? At least twice what we're facing now, Dr. Wright replied. But they don't know about our new weapons, and they definitely don't know about Project Prometheus. Garcia's eyes widened. That's still experimental. We haven't even tested it outside the laboratory. Dr. Wright's expression hardened with determination. Well, it looks like we're about to conduct a field test. The Voxeri want Earth's water. Let's show them what happens when humans get backed into a corner. Frank Carter watched anxiously as Earth's technicians made final adjustments to the Zictari communication array. Everything depended on breaking through the Voxeri jamming field and reaching the Galactic Council directly. Transmission ready in 3 minutes, reported Lisa Powell, her fingers dancing across the alien interface. The Zictari codes should bypass Council security protocols. Outside, the space battle had expanded to the orbit of Mars. Human forces, though severely outnumbered, had managed to destroy or disable over 30 Voxeri warships. The aliens had never faced an opponent who adapted so quickly to their tactics. We're live, Lisa announced. Broadcasting now. The transmission began streaming to every Council species simultaneously. It included footage from the captured Voxeri vessel's data core, intercepted communications detailing the planned harvesting of Earth's oceans, and live battle sequences showing Voxeri ships attacking civilian research stations. In the council chamber, the emergency session fell silent as the evidence appeared on their displays. The Voxeri delegates' mandibles clicked furiously. "These are fabrications. Human propaganda," he hissed. The Morvian leader's skin darkened with what might have been shame. "The battle recordings contain verified Voxeri command codes. These are authentic." While the council absorbed humanity's evidence, Admiral Martinez prepared to unleash Dr. Wright's secret weapon. Project Prometheus was a desperate gamble, a modified version of Voxeri energy technology that could disrupt the exotic matter powering their ships. "All human vessels, fall back to defensive positions," Martinez ordered. "Prepare for Prometheus activation in 60 seconds. Throughout the solar system, Earth's ships abruptly disengaged and retreated toward the home planet. The Voxeri commanders, mistaking this for surrender, ordered their fleet to advance. Dr. Wright stood in the control center beneath Geneva, her hand hovering over the activation switch. "Prometheus deploy in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Activate." A massive energy wave erupted from emitters hidden on Earth's moon. It spread outward at near light speed, invisible to conventional sensors. When it reached the Voxeri fleet, the effect was immediate. Their ships' power cores began to destabilize. Their weapon systems flickered and failed. In the chaos that followed, dozens of Voxeri vessels drifted helplessly in space, their propulsion and life support systems barely functioning. Others managed emergency jumps away from the battlefield, fleeing the unexpected human counterattack. Back in the council chamber, the mood had shifted dramatically. The Nilarian representative floated forward, its luminous body pulsing with unusual intensity. "Honored members," the ancient being's translator spoke, "we have maintained historical records that must now be shared." The chamber's central display activated, showing a galactic map with dozens of worlds highlighted. These systems were all targeted by Voxeri expansion in the past 3 centuries. 12 were harvested completely, their oceans and biospheres stripped. Others resisted and were marked as hostile territory. The council erupted in alarmed conversation as the Nilarian continued. "Our species chose neutrality to preserve our own safety. This was an error in judgment." More shocking news arrived moments later. Multiple council members reported detecting Voxeri scout ships in their own territories, ships that had never been registered or approved. The Morvian leader's voice cut through the commotion. "I call for an immediate vote on intervention in the Earth conflict." This time, the vote was unanimous. The council would act to stop the Voxeri aggression, but they were already too late. Admiral Garcia's voice came through on the emergency channel to Frank's communication terminal. "The Voxeri main fleet has broken off their approach. They're retreating past Neptune's orbit." Frank could hardly believe it. "They're running." "Not just running," Garcia replied, his voice revealing rare emotion. "Their commanders are sending distress calls. They're asking their homeworld for evacuation support." As the council scrambled to assemble an intervention force, humanity had already achieved what no one thought possible. They had driven the Voxeri from Earth's solar system through sheer determination and ingenuity. 3 weeks after the Voxeri retreat, a council diplomatic vessel entered Earth's orbit. Frank Carter stood in the newly constructed reception bay of Orbital Platform Alpha, watching as representatives from 7 council species disembarked. Their body language, even among the most alien of forms, conveyed unmistakable shock. "Welcome to Earth space," Frank said formally. "We're honored by your presence." The Morvian leader stepped forward, iridescent skin shifting through shades of blue that indicated humility. "The honor is ours, Representative Carter. The Council has come to formally apologize for our significant error in judgment." Behind them, through the viewport, Earth's defense fleet performed a synchronized maneuver. Human ships, now supplemented with modified Voxeri technology, moved with precision that impressed even the military-minded council delegates. "Perhaps we should proceed to the conference room," Frank suggested. Admiral Martinez and Dr. Wright are waiting to brief you on the conflict's resolution. In the sleek conference room, holographic displays showed the current situation. Voxeri forces had retreated beyond the heliopause, their harvesting fleet in disarray. More surprisingly, 3 other species previously dominated by Voxeri influence had requested Earth's assistance with their own defense systems. Admiral Martinez, now wearing the newly created uniform of Earth's Space Defense Force, described the final battle with professional detachment. Once the Prometheus system disabled their command capabilities, the Voxeri lost tactical cohesion. Their retreat was disorganized and complete. "Impossible," muttered one council member. "Their military doctrine has dominated the quadrant for centuries." Dr. Wright smiled as she activated the next display. They never adapted to fighting opponents who change tactics rapidly. Voxeri strategy relies on overwhelming force and technological superiority. Remove those advantages, and they falter. The Zicteri representative's antennae twitched with what might have been amusement. Humans achieved in weeks what our species couldn't accomplish in generations. Frank guided the conversation toward the future. Earth requests formal recognition as a full council member, with all rights and responsibilities that entails. Granted without reservation, the Morvian leader responded immediately. But the council would also request something in return. And what would that be? Frank asked carefully. "Human insight," replied the Nilarian, glowing gently. "Your species sees patterns others miss, adapts where others stagnate. The council needs this perspective." The negotiations lasted for 3 days. When they concluded, Earth had not only secured full council membership but leadership positions in 2 critical areas. Dr. Wright would head a new multi-species research initiative focused on defensive technologies, while Admiral Martinez would command a joint defense force tasked with monitoring potentially aggressive species, including the now-contained Voxeri. On the final day, Frank walked with the Morvian leader through a garden on the orbital platform, artificial gravity allowing Earth plants to grow in delicate arrangements. "Your people accomplished the impossible," the alien said quietly. "You were outnumbered, outgunned, and facing an enemy with centuries more experience in space warfare." Frank stopped beside a small fountain. "We've had different teachers than the rest of the galaxy. Earth's history is filled with smaller forces defeating larger ones through innovation and adaptability. The Council feared this resilience once. We thought it dangerous." The Morvian's skin rippled thoughtfully. "Now we understand it may be exactly what has been missing from galactic governance." As the Council delegation prepared to depart, Dr. Wright presented them with data crystals containing schematics for Project Prometheus, not as a weapon, but reconfigured as a defensive shield for vulnerable worlds. "Consider it Earth's first contribution as a council member," she said. "We developed this to protect our world. Now it can protect others." From the observation deck, Frank watched the council ship depart. Earth's place in the galaxy had been transformed in mere months, from dismissed newcomers to respected allies. The stars no longer seemed distant and unreachable, but filled with possibilities and connections. "They ignored our warnings," Lisa said, standing beside him. "And now?" Frank smiled. "Now they're listening to everything we have to say."